Well, fans, if you're like Austin and me, you're still struggling just a tad with your internal college basketball clock. After all, here we are at the end of January, and we're only just getting to our third broadcast of the season. But you know what? Throw that blasted clock right out the window, we say, because after all, we're still ecstatic. Just simply overwhelmingly thankful that we are back to the business of playing some college basketball and having some fun with you, the fans, along the way. Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to game number one of this two-night homestand of St. Martin's men's basketball alongside Saints Director of Athletic Communications, Austin Burns. I'm Jeff Lucero, happy to and very thankful to be here with you for the third live broadcast of an abbreviated 2021 Saints basketball season from Marcus Pavilion tonight. Just as they will tomorrow, the Saints welcome a familiar opponent from one state over and one time zone away to the Twin Star Parquet tonight, the Northwest Nazarene Nighthawks. We'd, of course, like to welcome in any Nighthawk fans tuning in for this broadcast. As always, it's great to have you along as well. We'll talk matchup shortly, but first, let's talk about the home team. And, well, for the Saints, they are coming off a tough but encouraging loss to the second NCAA Division I opponent on their schedule this year. 3 nights ago, the Saints traveled about 100 miles down I-5 to take on the Portland State Vikings, and just as they did in their previous 2 games against Seattle Pacific, the Saints, well, they came out hitting. They connected on their first 4 shots and scored 15 points in the game's first 5 minutes, quickly staking themselves to an early 15-8 lead. But the Saints struggled for the rest of the first frame, scoring just 13 points in the next 15 minutes, but trailed just 32-28 at the break. St. Martin's offensive struggles continued into the second half, allowing the Vikings to extend their lead to as many as 12 in the latter frame. The Saints found their stroke from beyond the arc down the stretch, at one point connecting on 4 straight three-pointers to draw within a single point, but the Vikings found the perfect counter, stroking back-to-back threes of their own to fortify a lead they ultimately would not relinquish. The 69-60 defeat was the 4th loss in as many games to start the season for St. Martin's, but Austin, they have played tough and played well, most certainly in these past 3 games. In 2 games against Seattle Pacific last weekend, who, by the way, are the defending regular season GNAC champions. The Saints played stretches of absolutely brilliant basketball. While they don't have any wins to show for their efforts yet, second-year Saints head coach Aaron Landon must have seen some stuff that's no doubt got him feeling energized and enthusiastic heading into this 2-game stint with the Nighthawks.
Thanks, Jeff. And I was down at Portland State. Beautiful arena, brand new down there. But it was a great game for the Saints. This is, Portland State obviously not up to their typical standards maybe this year. They had a loss against Northwest Nazarene early in the year, but St. Martin's played a lot better. Their defense is definitely improving each game. And, that first game that we called here in Marcus Pavilion was an offensive barn burner. Since then, the defense has really locked down. They're playing a better zone. And something that Portland State actually talked about in their post-game press conference was when Marky Adams came out of the Saints rotation and they were forced to play a small lineup, Portland State struggled with that because now you had so many shooters on the floor. So I think a lot of teams are struggling to adapt to that zone. It's becoming much, much more aggressive. It's starting to lock in year 2 for Aaron Landon and company, and it's just now, can the offense start to find its rhythm?
We will take our first break here on the Saints men's basketball pregame show. When we return, we'll take another look under the hood of this new-look Saints team and see what Saints head coach Aaron Landon is working with here in his second year on campus. Fans, you're dialed in for the St. Martin's men's basketball pregame show on the GNAC Digital Network.
Every time a student learns something new, makes a discovery, or helps a team, it's not just good for that student, it's good for the whole community. At St. Martin's University, we know the impact a well-prepared graduate can have on the world. That's why last year, we extended more than $15 million in scholarships to our students. Because the more we invest in them, the brighter the future becomes for all of us.
And welcome back in for the Saints men's basketball pregame show. Now, as we noted before the break, this is year number 2 under Saints head coach Aaron Landon, although it feels kind of weird to say that, given that just 3 teams in the Great Northwest Athletic Conference have scheduled games to date, and only 10 games appear on the Saints schedule as it's currently structured. His second year here brings with it another fresh batch of new faces and new personnel. Last weekend, we talked about how the Saints welcomed 5 new players, 4 transfers and 1 freshman, not to mention 1 new assistant coach to the program. But the team also returns a solid handful of very familiar faces. In fact, 4 starters from last year's squad are back for at least another go-round. Austin, let's talk about those 4 starters from last year and the experience they bring to this program. We're talking about sophomore Alex Schumacher and seniors DeMonte Malloy, John Moore, and Marky Adams.
Alex Schumacher, for me, is kind of that piece that St. Martin's needs to get going on a consistent basis to make that offense from an average offense right now to a good offense. He's so hard to guard. That's something that Portland State talked about as well. He does so much for the team. Even if he's not maybe connecting on shots right now, he does so much for him. And he's a very explosive guard who's, developing his offensive game, but he can really take over a game at any point. Some of the other pieces, DeMonte Malloy, he was getting a lot of minutes last year. He's done a great job adjusting to this new role coming off the bench. He's been a big impact player for the Saints off the bench. And I think what it does is it gives Aaron Landon kind of a key piece that he can turn to quickly in the game if something isn't going right. DeMonte brings a lot of senior leadership. John Moore, really the anchor of the defense, in my opinion, outside of Marky Adams. He does so much up front in that zone. You can put him on just about anybody, 1 through 5. We've seen him face guarding 6'9" guys. We've seen him out on the 5'11" point guards. He does everything for the Saints on the defensive end. And for the other one as well is Marcus Linker. He's really contributing a lot. When I'm talking with Aaron Landon, he's just an all-around great guy to have on the team. He keeps the morals up. He keeps the energy up for the team. And when he gets in, there is no question that this team goes 110% because Marcus is out there busting his tail every single possession.
You mentioned Marcus Linker. Another holdover from last year's team is Alex Clinton. He's also looking to expand his role in the Saints backcourt rotation this season. Saints head coach Aaron Landon had one of the youngest teams in the GNAC last year, and this shortened season won't be much different. The big difference this year is there are, as we mentioned, just 3 GNAC teams with games currently scheduled, and all 3 have rosters dominated up and down by players who aren't due to graduate for at least another year, and even those who are will still have an opportunity to play another year thanks to this pandemic-shortened season. We'll talk about that throughout tonight's broadcast and throughout this limited engagement season as well. We'll take another quick break on the Saints Men's Basketball Pregame Show.
Opportunity to me means doing the things that will make you a better future. I always dreamed of graduating from college. So being the first one in my family to graduate, it meant everything my parents sacrificed was paying off. Having an athletic scholarship for the University of Mount Olive was key for my success. I had the opportunity to not only get an education, but be able to develop as an individual.
And welcome back into the Saints Men's Basketball Pregame Show. And, well, it's time for a quick look at tonight's opponent for the Saints. Picked to finish 7th in the GNAC last year, the Nighthawks wound up finishing 4th before being knocked out of the GNAC tournament in the opening round. Now, this year's Nighthawks enter tonight's game with an overall record of 6-1. But these 2 games with the Saints tonight and tomorrow represent their first ones against a GNAC opponent. Now, despite not being especially deep this year, this team is very, very balanced. Their leading scorer, 6-foot point guard Zeke Alley, who is perhaps the finest player that GNAC has to offer. In fact, if this were a regular season with all 10 teams, there's no question he would be in the running for Conference Player of the Year. Last year's best 6th man in the league has more than earned his spot in the starting lineup this year, currently averaging nearly 18 points per game, but perhaps more impressively, he can really stroke it from deep, currently averaging a sparkling 50% from beyond the arc. Another couple of players to keep an eye on this weekend. How about 6'2" junior guard Kobe Terashima and 6'6" sophomore forward James Nelson? Terashima, he is a do-everything, just junkyard dog. The dude just flat out stuffs the stat sheet. He's averaging right now about 7.5 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds per game. And these Nighthawks, can look to a genuine microwave on their bench in the form of Nelson. He's averaging just over 9 points per game, but check this out. He's getting it done in fewer than 16 minutes per game. And then there's George Reedy, a 6'5 redshirt sophomore. He also checks in with 12 points per game, good for second on the team behind Alley. Now, overall, they're averaging about 75 points per game. They're shooting a shade under 45% from the floor, 38% from three, and 73% at the foul line. But here's the thing. They play really, really, really well together. They're not 6-1 by accident. They're balanced, they get after it, and they compete hard. And most of all, they're closers, as that 6-1 start to their season would indicate. And Austin, if you'll permit me to quote Glenn Ross, coffee is for closers. This team knows how to get it done when it matters most.
Yeah, Northwest Nazarene, we're going to talk a lot about Alley here tonight. Something that fans might remember, he was in a knee brace last year that kind of affected him, it seemed like, because we know this guy is a special scorer. And now without that knee brace, his first step is explosive, and he can score. Portland State had no answer for him. And they have so many weapons on the floor. You talked about Terashima and his 40 assists on the year. He only has 18 turnovers. That's over a 2 assist to turnover rate. He's a very smart, high IQ basketball player. This is a team who can flat out score 45% from the field. They're a very efficient offense, and that's what they've done to their opponents. Not many people have found a way to stop them yet offensively. I look at that 93 points on the road at Concordia Irvine. That's a good team down there in California. So this Northwest Nazarene team, they're going to put points up on the board. They're going to like to do it with the three-point shot. Let's see how they adjust to the Saints zone. They went 0 for 2 against it last year.
And making matters worse for the Saints, they better hope the Nighthawks have a short memory. Saints fans might recall that last year's team won just 4 games in GNAC play. Well, exactly half of those wins came against Northwest Nazarene to both begin and end their league schedule. These two games this weekend might represent revenge games for the Nighthawks, something that head coach Paul Rush very likely reminded his guys about heading into this weekend. We'll take our final break on the Saints men's basketball pregame show. When we come back, we'll set the stage with some starting lineups and a few last thoughts before tip-off between the Saints and the Nighthawks. This has been the St. Martin's men's basketball pregame show on the GNAC Digital Network.
NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student-athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student-athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student-athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
And welcome back in. We're just about set for tip-off here. Let's quickly run you through some starting lineups first for the visiting Nighthawks. Again, 6-1 on the season overall coming in. In the backcourt tonight, number 1, Kobe Terashima, the 6'2 junior from Meridian, Idaho. Joined in the backcourt by number 11, Zeke Alley, already a 2-time GNAC Player of the Week. He's a 6-foot senior from Tucson, Arizona. Also in the backcourt, number 12, Sam Roth. He's a 6'3 redshirt senior from Salem, Oregon. George Reedy joins him in the backcourt, so a 4-out, 1-in look from the Nighthawks to start. Reedy, a 6'5 redshirt sophomore from Edmonds. Up front for the Nighthawks, number 32, Gabe Murphy. He's a 6'9 redshirt sophomore from Tracy, California for the Saints. Ought to look pretty familiar to you. Number 0, Alex Schumacher, the 6'3 sophomore from Vancouver. Also in the backcourt, number 1, Tyke Thompson, the 6'7 redshirt sophomore, also from Salem, Oregon. Number 3, DeMonte Malloy. Make it number 22, John Moore in the backcourt, a 6'2 junior from Tacoma. Number 32, Marky Adams, a 6'9 senior from Forks. And let's scan the court. Looks like Goy Wang back in the starting lineup, the 6'5 junior from Aurora, Colorado. Saints in white, Nighthawks in red. Tip is up, and we are underway. Nighthawks moving left to right on your radio dial. Saints come out in their traditional zone look. Quick skip pass to the corner. Zeke Alley with his first look, and he's no longer shooting 50% from 3. We'll see how long that keeps up. The other way, it's Tyke Thompson, early offense. His 3 a little long. Marky Adams, the offensive rebound, gets to the glass, lays it in, and our first points are on the board. As Adams crashes in from the weak side. Strong rebound, gets the putback. Reed kicks to the corner. Alley missed from there a moment ago. Thompson forcing him to his right. We'll reset to Sam Roth up top. Down to the opposite corner, and this is George Reedy. Thompson gets his hand on the pass, deflects it into the mitts of John Moore, and the Saints their first turnover of the ball game.
That was something that the Saints used well at the start of Portland State on Tuesday. The turnovers, the defense allowed them to get out with a quick offensive start.
Thompson played 35 minutes in that game before fouling out, but only attempted 5 shots in that game. Attempts his second one right there. And the 13-foot fadeaway floater will go, and the Saints with an early 4-0 lead. Our first foul of the game brings us our first stoppage as well. Goy Wang commits the foul. About 35 feet from the basket, ball out of bounds to the Nighthawks.
Yeah, Tyke Thompson is just an unstoppable scorer when he is clicking. He hit the first 3 of the game against Portland State, and then like you said, he just really didn't complete many shots, and that was because Portland State really focused on him. They made sure Tyke Thompson was not going to beat them that night. Let's see what he can do against this Nighthawks defense.
Roth handles, drives, now finds Terashima in the high post. Bothered by Adams. Under 10 on the shot clock. And Wang commits his second foul. He'll have to head to the bench, you'd think. Just a minute and a half gone by in this game, and already Goy Wang with 2 fouls, and indeed he will check out. DeMonte Malloy will replace him on the floor.
Well, that's something we talked about in the pregame there, Jeff. Right when something starts going wrong for the Saints, where does Aaron Landon go? Right to DeMonte Malloy. And that's such a huge piece to be able to bring off the bench for him.
He and Ty Velasquez, we'll talk about him a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
Broadcast. He has really emerged as a go-to guy off the bench for the Saints, so it's very much a luxury for Aaron Landon, as you mentioned, Aaron, to be able to have 2 guys like Malloy and Velasquez that you can bring in off of your bench. Into the high post it goes. George Reedy on the drive. Gets around Marky Adams and lays a soft lefty shot off glass, and the Nighthawks are on the board. 4-2 our score early on in this thing, about 2 minutes gone by. Thompson handles. Now Moore. Adams looks for Tyke Thompson down low.
Yeah, they got a mismatch with Tyke Thompson. Now he's going to phase out towards the corner.
John Moore at the top. Starts his drive. Gets into the lane. Hesitates. Now kicks to Malloy. He'll set his feet. Fire up for 3. That one off the side of the rim. Adams after it, as is John Moore. Bodies go flying, and the Nighthawks come away with it. Sam Roth handles. Skip pass to the corner. Here on the near side. All alone is Alley. He'll try a 3, and he's shooting 50% again from 3. Misfired on his first, but buries the second. And the Nighthawks with their first lead at 5-4.
That's the one player on the court the Saints can't lose no matter what. That was too open of a shot.
Yep, bit of
for
a
Alley.
defensive breakdown for the Saints, and it cost him. Malloy, a couple of lefty dribbles, loses control for a moment, gathers. Thompson, a quick pass over to Moore. He'll try for three. Nailed it. John Moore, dead eye from three. Saints regain the lead, 7-5. Good offense from the Saints. Great ball movement.
Exactly what you were going to say. And now opportunity for the Saints.
Quick hands from Schumacher. He steers it the other way. We're knocking the pass away. He'll step back for three. Look good from here. Long rebound. Karam's out into the hands of Sam Roth, and back come the Nighthawks.
Yeah, Saints have done a great job this season so far, sharing the ball, moving it around the perimeter. But an inside look there. Great ball movement once again. This is a highlight reel right now for coaches to show how do you move the ball around the court and get not a good shot, a great shot.
Yeah, Terashima doing what he does best, getting along the baseline, setting up one of his teammates again, averaging nearly 6 assists per contest coming into tonight's game. Schumacher rolls off the high screen from Adams. Now they kick to the corner. Malloy will try for three again, leaves that one short, and the rebound comes down to Zeke Alley. Again, I mentioned it a moment ago, but let's say it again. Zeke Alley already the two-time GNAC player of the week in the conference. Back-to-back buckets now for Gabe Murphy as he is starting to heat up, and the Nighthawks back on top at 9-7.
Well, the Nighthawks offense is definitely designed to run through Alley and Reedy. They are the primary shots. They're going to get about 13 shots a game each. So really, the coaching staff really focusing their efforts through those two.
Alex Schumacher flashes open, takes the pass at an easy angle from John Moore. Feathers home a shot. We're all knotted up at 9. Stepping through as George Reedy gets to the rack, no good. Adams rips it away from Murphy. Saints bring it the other way. Thompson handles momentarily. Now Schumacher ducks under the Adams screen. Thompson gets it back. John Moore guarded by Zeke Alley. 10 on the shot clock as Schumacher goes to work between the circles. Out. Adams comes out to set the screen. Saints got to get it going, and they will. Here's Malloy for three. Malloy has misfired from three.
Yeah, but he hasn't taken a bad shot, though. They've all been great open shots. They're just not falling. Eventually, they will.
He's had his feet set under him every single time. Speaking of that, great form right there. Wide open look at a three for Kobe Terashima, and he's into the scoring ledger. Thompson the other way. His three a little bit off. Long rebound to Reedy. Alley. Now Terashima on the drive. Pulls up from 12 feet. Floats up a shot, no good. Schumacher the rebound. Quick outlet into the hands of John Moore. Pass to the corner. Thompson nearly traveled. Drives cut off. Now Schumacher. His floater won't fall. Ball caroms out of bounds, and that'll bring us to our first traditional stoppage in play. 12-9 our scores. The Nighthawks by 3.
Every time a student learns something new, makes a discovery, or helps a team, it's not just good for that student, it's good for the whole community. At St. Martin's University, we know the impact a well-prepared graduate can have on the world. That's why last year, we extended more than $15 million in scholarships to our students. Because the more we invest in them, the brighter the future becomes, for all of us.
And welcome back in. We are just underway here on the Twin Star Court inside Marcus Pavilion. Nighthawks looking quite strong right out of the chute. 5 of 8 from the floor, and 2 for 3 from deep as well. That's why they have this early 12-9 lead, Austin. They are shooting it with much efficiency.
Yeah, they're not going to where the Saints zone usually has maybe some issues is that corner three. Instead, it's been more in the middle of the beyond the arc, and they're really just finding where they want to shoot the ball right now, and they're getting in their comfort zones. What they're doing is they're walking into their shots. They're not running really set plays. They're more coming off a transition, and that quick offense, you know, it's something that Northwest Nazarene likes to do a lot, and they're right now it's playing right into their hands.
3 fresh bodies on the deck for the Saints. We'll set that for you in just a moment. Meanwhile, it's Thompson up top for Seth Coddington, who's one of those 3 fresh players for the Saints. Joined right now by Ty Velasquez and Marcus Linker on the floor for the first time tonight. 5 on the shot clock. Coddington spins off the defender, gets to the rack, lays up a tough angled shot. It will fall, and he's fouled. Seth Coddington right into the game on his first possession. Beautiful take. That was a tough shot. Sort of very off balance, high off the glass. And just like that, Seth Coddington makes his mark on this game.
That's the 3rd time in 3 games here at home that Seth Coddington comes off the floor, and the first thing he does is get an and one strong play to the basket. This guy's really impressing me. Again, missed some time during the break due to health reasons. Now he's starting to get those minutes and those legs back under him. He's going to be a great player for the Saints.
Yeah, Saints now 4 for 5 from the floor inside the three-point line, but outside it, they're 1 of 7. So definitely having a lot more success when they move the ball inside the three-point line. Speaking of the three-point line,
well, there was just nothing wrong defensively there for the Saints. The Nighthawks just kind of extended the zone or beyond the zone and just shot a deep 3, something that if you're the Saints, you're happy to take. If you're the Nighthawks, it goes in, so you're happy as well.
Yeah, that was Brandon Recheck fresh on the floor. So his first shot falls on his first possession on the floor. Nighthawks now 3 for 4 from deep. Velasquez handles. Shot clock set to expire yet again. Able to split the defense, gets to the rack. It's everything but the finish for Velasquez. At the other end, Demonte Malloy hits the deck. Skip pass up top and a long 3 on its way once again, this time from Jalen Fox. It won't fall. Ball trickles out of bounds. Last touched. Oh, I assume that was last touched by Northwest Nazarene as it rolled right past like 1, maybe 2 St. Martin's players. I think they both thought it was off the Nighthawks because they made no attempt at the ball at all. Well, it'll stay at the Northwest Nazarene end. Fresh 20-second shot clock for the Nighthawks.
Yeah, for the Saints, rebounding, such a key bit for them as Alley just kind of works his way in the paint. Nice Euro step is what I'll call that.
Velasquez handles for a moment. Malloy dispossessed. Look at the effort.
Wow.
Throwing himself on the deck after the ball. It's James Nelson. James Nelson is an all-energy dude. Remember, averaging better than 9 points per game in fewer than 16 minutes per game. I called him a microwave at the outset in the pregame. We're going to see some of what he brings to the table for Northwest Nazarene, and if it's anything like the effort he just put in, he's going to be a handful for the Saints while he's on the floor.
Something coaches love to see, effort all the time. My athletic director was talking to me about some former players called the Kamikaze Boys because they were known for diving out of bounds on every play. Reminded me right there of that.
Saints get deep into the shot clock yet again. That's the 3rd straight possession. The shot clock has gone under 5. Looked, to me anyway, like Seth Coddington could have put a shot up right there. Instead opts to kick it back out, but the man had vacated the spot. And that ball sails into the stands. One of the few mistakes so far for the Saints at the offensive end. 17-12 Northwest Nazarene as we move toward the 12-minute mark of the first half. Recheck looks down low. Christian Rose handles for the moment. Gets up in the air, gets his defender in the air as well, and I believe it's going to be called against John Moore, and it is beneath the basket. That will send Christian Rose to the line. Rose, a 6'6" redshirt freshman from La Jolla, California. Hope I'm pronouncing that correct.
No, your guess is as good as mine, Jeff. I'm not going to take a
La Jolla? Maybe it's La
La
Jolla.
Jolla. I think that sounds about right. Maybe someone in the chat can help us out on that one.
Awesome, glad you brought that up. For those of you tuning in tonight, don't forget to check out some of the new features that we do have on the broadcast, namely the chat feature. Austin just mentioned it. That allows us to interact with you throughout the game. They did a much better job of it, I think, for the second broadcast against Seattle Pacific. But we're still kind of trying to get the feel for it, so hang in there with us. But by all means, drop your comments in the chat. We'll do our best.
Yeah, it's the future of broadcasting, huh? You know, talking with the fans while calling a game.
Sure, why not?
A lot of fun.
Nighthawks quickly the other way. True Allen handles. Foul on the floor. Wave off the shot. Didn't fall anyway. Linker commits his first. That one working against James Nelson, and that will bring us to another stoppage in play. So Northwest Nazarene with their biggest lead of the game at 19-12, 11:39 to play in the first half on the GNAC Digital Network.
Opportunity to me means doing the things that will make you a better future. I always dreamed of graduating from college. So being the first one in my family to graduate, it meant everything my parents sacrificed was paying off. Having an athletic scholarship for the University of Mount Olive was key for my success. I had the opportunity to not only get an education, but be able to develop as an individual.
And welcome back inside Marcus Pavilion. Northwest Nazarene jumping out, sort of slowly inching out, really, to this 19-12 lead. How are they doing it? Well, they're still shooting it really, really well from all over the floor. 7 of 11 from the field. That's 64%. 3 for 5 from beyond the arc. 60% from out there as well. I caught up with assistant coach Thomas Roswell before tonight's game. It's one of the things he told me, that this is just a really efficient team. They get after it. They pound the glass. They're just an efficient basketball team, and that's what scares him the most, and the rest of the St. Martin's coaching staff, as they were getting set for this 2-game series against Northwest Nazarene this weekend. Recheck on the drive. Gets caught in the air for a moment, able to gather himself, hands it off to Reedy, gets to the rack, shot no good. Adams taps it out into the hands of Seth Coddington. Look how quick Seth Coddington is the other way. Tough angled shot that time, will not fall. John Moore, however, able to gather the weak side offensive rebound, earns the Saints an extra possession. Coddington guarded up top by Terashima. Couple of screens come out. Coddington drifts to his left. Once again, we're at 5 on the shot clock. Bounce pass into the corner for Velasquez. Crosses over right to left. Will the Saints get a shot off? They will. However, it misses everything. Shot clock violation for St. Martin's.
Yeah, it's a tough shot for John Moore. Just ball was hitting his hand, and he was already kind of in the shooting motion. He had to be to get that shot off in time. Just ball stayed a little bit too out on the point, too stagnant in that offense.
And I'd say the Saints are staying a little bit too patient at the offensive end. This is, again, the shot clock has been in danger. The majority of the last several trips down the floor for St. Martin's. Terashima goes to work. Tough dribbling. Able to split the defenders. Kicks to the corner. But stepping out of bounds was True Allen for the Nighthawks, so a turnover apiece since we came out of the timeout. We sit at 19-12. It's about halfway through our first half.
I'd like to see the Saints try and get the ball into the hands of Marky Adams. I mean, he's shooting almost 70% from the field this year. He's one of the best in the country at that. At least get him a touch down low on the block. If nothing comes of it, at least you get the ball down low to him and give him a chance.
He comes out, takes the pass, now hands it off for Velasquez. Reverses it back to Thompson. Looking for Schumacher, finds him, and a whistle away from the ball. Adams was getting set up down low, Austin. I think that they were working it around to set him up for a look inside.
Yeah, he does a lot of work for the Saints in their offense. He's setting a lot of screens out on the outside because, again, when you run a 4-guard set, it's a lot of screens, and there it is, down low, Marky Adams.
Perfect seal on his man. No hesitation at all, just turns over the right shoulder, lays it up and in.
I'll give all credit to Aaron Landon. I'm sure he thought about it way before me. That was a great job by the Saints, and now what it does is it helps reset your offensive mindset, and now if you can come away with a defensive possession here, you got a chance to turn the momentum.
Saints have yet to come out of that zone look so far in this game. Reedy.
Great
Wheels,
move.
deals. Good heavens. That was spectacular. Look at George Reedy just go to work. Able to get around the much taller Marky Adams.
Yeah, best shot blocker in the league in Marky Adams, too. That's not an easy thing to do.
Here's Ty Velasquez. We'll see if he gets to get his shot off soon. John Moore, strong take, lays it up and in and one. How about John Moore? That was an electric move, just blew past the defender. No chance at all for the help defender to do anything but rake him across the arm, but Moore too strong cuts the Nighthawks lead to 5.
Well, that's what I love about John Moore. He's so locked in on the defensive end, and then he comes up with just big baskets, and it helps the team. It really does. He doesn't need the ball in his hands. He doesn't have to score 15, 20 points a game. He's just there to help the team in whatever way he can. Such a great piece for this Saints team.
Just an absolute Swiss Army knife of a basketball player. Beautiful pass inside, and there's, once again, Kobe Terashima setting up a teammate for an easy look at the basket. This time it's Sam Roth alone. He knocks one home off the glass. The other way, Tyke Thompson squares up a 3 between the circles. Knocks that one down, and the Sweets creep right back into it at 23-20 as we hit the 9-minute mark of the first half.
Yeah, and there you go. There's Tyke Thompson once again. Deep 3. That one's starting to stretch even towards the NBA range. He really is. He's never scared to shoot a ball from anywhere on the floor.
Reedy needs help. Nearly picked off by Thompson. Pass makes its way to the corner. Alley's 3 won't fall. The long rebound trickles all the way out near midcourt. And Sam Roth resets for the Nighthawks. Alley comes to get it. Now Terashima. Another beautiful bounce pass inside. A second one. A whistle and a reset on the shot clock as the ball made its way to the foot of a St. Martin's player. So shot clock goes back to 20. And we'll get our first look at Josh Camper on the floor for the Saints tonight.
And Camper shot the ball well up at Seattle U. Missed some time. That's why you didn't see him too much in the Seattle Pacific games. And now I think he's going to be a great point guard for this team. A freshman, he's learning a lot every single game. He just needs time on the floor to really learn what it's like to be a Division II basketball player.
Shot clock nearly expires. Adams a strong rebound. Great defense right there from St. Martin's. Forces a tough shot with a shot clock going off. Schumacher on the drive. Sealed off, now kicks it back up top for Thompson. Adams looks to go to work down low, but he's cut off.
Yeah, Markey needs to catch that ball about another 3-4 feet closer to the basket.
Thompson crosses over, now hands it off. Camper for 3. Deep 3, it's a little bit long. Schumacher after it, but it winds up with Alley. He races out. Running the floor is the big man for Northwest Nazarene. That's Gabe Murphy. Credit Murphy now with half a dozen points.
Man, you got to love seeing that effort all the way across the floor.
Schumacher, brilliant move, splits the defense. However, his shot just a little bit off. Saints have just not yet found their rhythm shooting the basketball tonight. Great defensive recovery from Tyke Thompson. He'll lead the Saints break. Nazarene recovers nicely. Schumacher along the baseline. Now Thompson between the circles, guarded closely by Terashima. Thompson on the drive. Good help defense. Now Thompson wheels off his defender. His shot will not fall. It's now 8 of 22 from the floor. Terashima sheds the defender in a travel. George Reedy got his feet moving a little bit too quickly before starting his move. That brings us to another stoppage in play. 6:44 left in the first half. Saints hanging around. They're down 5 on the GNAT Digital Network.
NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Saints leading scorer on the season, Tyke Thompson, off to a very nice start in this game. He's got 7 points on 3 of 6 shooting. He's also got 2 assists and 2 steals. We're going to talk a lot about Tyke Thompson, not just tonight, not just this season, but a lot. I mean a lot for the next 4 years. He's a really, really special player for Aaron Landon.
Yeah, and I think you're only going to see his play evolve as the Saints continue to get more weapons around him, because right now opposing defenses know they have to lock him down. And if you can start putting other shooters on the floor to space out that defense even more, Tyke's going to become even more of an efficient scorer. He's kind of having to do a lot himself, force a lot of shots. He's just going to keep getting better, and as the Saints add pieces, it's just going to become more and more fun to watch this offense centered around Tyke Thompson.
Meanwhile, Nazarene off to a great start. 7 different players have already scored for Northwest Nazarene. They continue to shoot it very well, 59% from the floor. Malloy back on the deck for the Saints. He's sealed off near the baseline. Wheels a pass back up top for Tyke Thompson. 10 seconds on the shot clock for Schumacher to go to work. Out comes Adams to shut the screen. Thompson dances through the lane. 5 on the shot clock. Into the corner. They look for Adams now. Going to have to hustle. Schumacher forced to throw up a shot-put shot. And another shot clock violation for St. Martin's.
Yeah, Northwest Nazarene, they're doing a great job of blocking the Saints on that penetration drive, and they're not allowing SMU to get into the paint and then work from there. They're cutting them off about 2-3 feet outside, and it's forcing the Saints to wrap that ball back around outside.
Reedy flashes open for a moment into the paint. Work it back around. Now it's Alley on the drive. Gets all the way to the rack. Adams came out of nowhere to bother the shot. However, the rebound came down into the hands of James Nelson. He lays it up and in, and the Nighthawks back to that 7-point lead. Schumacher races in. His shot just will not fall. What a move. Adams gathers it. Shot off glass, no good. And the Saints' sluggish start continues.
Yeah, it's the second time Schumacher's got what he's wanted, a drive to the rim, just hasn't been able to finish, but those are the looks for him.
Terashima nearly travels. His floater along the baseline won't go. Look at James Nelson after the basketball, just rips it away from Thompson, gets it back, fires for 3, leaves it well short, but racing in is George Reedy for the offensive rebound. Alley for 3. Looks off, and it is right off the heel. Thompson, the easy rebound for the Saints. He'll look to push. Now slams on the brakes, hesitates. Hands it off to Malloy. Under 5 to play here in the first half. Camper gets tripped up. Stumbles to his knees in the paint. Foul on the floor. Just the 4th. Not a lot of fouls called in this game. We've 4 fouls for either team. Goy Wang with 2 of those fouls for the Saints checks back in here for St. Martin's, as does Ty Velasquez and Josh Coddington. So the 5 on the deck for the Saints. Velasquez, Coddington, Wang, Malloy, and Adams. One of the bigger lineups you'll see from the Saints this season. 12 on the shot clock for Coddington. Eschews the screen. Reverses to Malloy. Starts his drive. A lot of contact. There's a whistle. Malloy was fouled a couple of times on that drive.
And
I believe that one will send him to the line.
That's what I want to see more from the Saints. Just put your head down and drive into the paint and make something happen. Right now, I think they're waiting a little bit too much for kind of, pun intended, the Red Sea to open up, and you can drive straight to the basket. Saints need to just keep putting their head down and muscle your way in.
That foul was the 2nd on James Nelson, so he will take a seat, I believe. Yes, he will. Shows his frustration as he comes off. Not happy with himself. Commits his 2nd foul. Could be done for the first half, we'll see. Replaced on the floor by Brandon Recheck. Another sub into the game. Jalen Fox replacing Kobe Terashima. Malloy good on the first free throw. 2nd on its way. That one good as well.
I like seeing that out of the Saints' free throws. That's something that hurt them against Seattle Pacific. Right now, it's helping get that offense going. And in a low-scoring game so far, free throws mean so much.
They can also help get a guy going.
Very true.
We've seen Malloy misfire in his first 3 shots from the field. Maybe that's what he needs to get into a rhythm. Quite sure what the whistle is here.
I think, if I heard correctly through the headphones, I think they're going to call a double foul on both the Nighthawks.
It is a double foul. So the ball will go to St. Martin's. The way Aaron Landon reacted to that call, I thought maybe it was just a loose ball foul on St. Martin's. Instead it goes against either team, and for the first time tonight, we'll see some pressure picked up in backcourt from Northwest Nazarene. Saints able to break it into the hands. It's Velasquez with a wide open look at a 3, and he crushes it. Ty Velasquez That's how you break pressure. Get the ball ahead quickly into the hands of a shooter like Velasquez and let him do the rest.
Yeah, he came through so clutch for the Saints. He's really the reason why SMU got back into it at Portland State. Big-time three, couple assists. He does so much for them off the bench. Well, look at that response.
My goodness, long three from Brandon Reseck. He barely bent his knees from 25 feet. I thought that was going to be well short when he let it go, but we watched that thing all the way to the rim, and that shot was pure. My goodness, what a shot from Recheck. And the Nighthawks continue to shoot it very well. Whistle on the floor. I believe it'll be ball out of bounds to St. Martin's when we return. 3:35 left in the first half. Northwest Nazarene continues to lead right now at 30-25 on the GNAC Digital Network.
Every time a student learns something new, makes a discovery, or helps a team, it's not just good for that student, it's good for the whole community. At St. Martin's University, we know the impact a well-prepared graduate can have on the world. That's why last year, we extended more than $15 million in scholarships to our students. Because the more we invest in them, the brighter the future becomes for all of us.
So Brandon Recheck, if I'm not mistaken, Austin, is a guy who has not played in the past 4 games, if memory serves, for this Northwest Nazarene team. But boy, are they happy to have him back. He has already hit 2 threes in this game, and he, along with Gabe Murphy, leads the team with 6 points. 11 players have stepped onto the floor already in the first half for Northwest Nazarene, 8 of whom have scored. This is a very balanced scoring attack, and they're that much more dynamic with the return after a 4-game absence of Brandon Recheck.
Yeah, they're a team that shares the ball well. They can shoot from anywhere on the floor. Very good three-point shooting team, as we mentioned in the pregame show. And it helps when you have a player like Ali. He draws so much attention onto himself. It allows other space onto the floor for everybody else. It's a good offense. Some of their shots just not falling that they usually are hitting in games past.
Well, the Saints, to their credit, they're not shooting it all that well. Still just 36% from the floor, 9 of 25, and 3 of 11 from deep. Still hanging around right in this game, just down 5, and they have possession here coming out of this timeout. One thing they've done pretty well is take care of the basketball. They're credited with just 3 turnovers, 2 of which were shot clock violations. So the Saints taking care of the basketball. They're just having a lot of trouble getting into that flow at the offensive end.
Yeah, for St. Martin's, I feel like what they really operate well is when they have like Marky Adams getting down low and getting some baskets, it really brings that defense in, and then they allow them in transition off of a good defensive stop to get the ball out to their shooters like Thompson and Ty Velasquez, who have been their best three-point shooters so far on the year. But for the Saints, you look up at the scoreboard, you're not shooting the ball great, and it's only a 5-point game. Your defense is keeping you in this ball game. Now you just need some of those possessions to start going your way, and I would like to see that ball down low a bit more to Marky Adams.
5 turnovers on the other side for Northwest Nazarene. Kobe Terashima, normally so responsible with the basketball, already credited with 4 turnovers. 4 of those 5 turnovers for Nazarene here in the first half. That's an interesting number. That's an anomaly.
It really is.
Where I come from.
I'm going to go ahead and take the blame for that one. I talked up how well he's been doing limiting turnovers. Just that announcer's jinx, so I apologize. That's that. I'll take the blame on that one.
We'll get you every time. And correction as well, that was the 7th foul of the first half on Northwest Nazarene, so it did set up a 1-on-1 opportunity for Coddington. Knocks down the first to earn the bonus, but second one rattles out. So 30-26 our score, exactly 3.5 to play in the first. Terashima back on the floor, into the high post for Reedy. He'll back it out. Now goes to work on Adams. Spins around him. Lefty shot off glass is good. George Reedy has had a couple really nice moves to the basket. This guy can really play. Remember, he comes in tonight averaging a dozen a game. Really good player for this Northwest Nazarene team. They try a lob inside, but undercut on his way to the basket is Marky Adams. I believe it was Reedy who got underneath him. If it is, that's his second. We'll
Well,
Actually, it's Jalen Fox whistled for that call. That's his first, but the team's 8th.
Sorry, Jeff. In all honesty, it was the pass that was like bringing Marky Adams back that kind of forced it. I don't think anyone thought Marky Adams was going to have to be drifting back like Odell Beckham Jr. to try and make a catch there. So, that's just wrong place, wrong time right there.
Adams, 1-1. Leaves it well short. Did you just compare Marky Adams to Odell Beckham Jr.?
I did. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to go on a limb and say, if we put the game film out there, I think Marky Adams could do it. We saw the dunk from the free throw line last year.
We did see the dunk from the free throw line last year. That was one of the best moves of the entire season in my mind, and the entire GNAC. Speaking of great moves, Reedy again with the left hand spins around Adams and gets to the rack and lays it in. George Reedy is feasting down low. Saints are going to have to do something to combat that left-handed finish because he is getting to the rack with relative ease. Wang alone beneath the basket, hesitates for a moment. Might have been able to punch it with 2 hands. There was nobody near him. Instead, the defender collapses on him, and he just hits the feathery 7-footer over him anyway.
Yeah, for me, John Moore and Goy Wang kind of play that same role in the Saints scheme. Very defensive-oriented players, but they come through with baskets right when the Saints need them the most.
Terashima backs it out now to recheck. Look at Murphy. He'll step out and
there
knock
you
it
go.
Down. My goodness, what's all this? Gabe Murphy now with, I believe, 9 points in the first half. The 6'9" big man.
Saw him run the
floor. Defense, knocks down the 3, and Nazarene with their biggest lead of 9.
A little bit of Kevin Love right there. Step out, stretch the defense.
Velasquez gets inside. A lot of contact, no call. Landon certainly thought so. 3 on the way for Jalen Fox, and he knocks it down. Just like that, it's a 12-point deficit. We are in the danger zone right here of the first half. Saints really need to stay connected. We'll see if they're able to do so over the next 86 seconds. Timeout is called by St. Martin's. Looks like it's just a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it here. But, wow, we're seeing what Northwest Nazarene can do.
Yeah, Jeff, this week, there's 3 people on the court we want to recognize just here in this game, but also in all of the GNAC and in all of basketball across the country. The officials do such a great job. And the Division II Conference Commissioners Association, the Division II Athletic Directors Association, Great Northwest Athletic Conference, Northwest Nazarene, and St. Martin's wish to recognize a very important part of today's game as a part of the Division II Officials Appreciation Week. Often overlooked and underappreciated is the amount of time, effort, and dedication our officials give back to support this sport and our student athletes. Their commitment to safe, fair, and competitive contests is a critical part of the student-athlete experience. So once again, on behalf of everyone, we'd ask to join us in showing appreciation for their support of our student-athletes with a round of applause. So thank you. Round of applause at home. There we go.
We can all be a little bit too hard on the referees at times, but, they've got a thankless job, and we couldn't do it without them. If they're not out here refereeing these games, guess what? These athletes aren't out here playing these games. So, yes, really happy to be able to extend our appreciation to the referees as they are pouring blood, sweat, and tears into bringing basketball back just as much as these players are. What a play that was. Was that Brandon Recheck on the lob, able to get loose? What a pass. And just like that, a 14-point lead. Saints can go 2 for 1 if they hustle. And they will have a 2 for 1 opportunity after Velasquez tries to wrap around a pass around the defender into the hands of Adams. Foul in the process will send him back to the line for the final 1-1 of the half for St. Martin's.
Yeah, Saints are all just ball watching right there on that dunk, and that allowed a easy backdoor alley-oop. Well,
that free throw from Velasquez ends the run. It's been a reign of terror for Northwest Nazarene over the last couple of minutes of this game, and something you never want to do is dig yourself into too deep a hole in the waning moments of the first half. Saints need to stop right here and hope for a bucket at the other end, so they can stay within distance, keep connected to this Nighthawks basketball team. Terashima in no hurry at all to get moving. 12 on the shot clock. Finally hands it off for Jalen Fox. Back to Terashima. Rolls off the screen. Jump stop in the lane. Loses control for a moment. Gets to the rack. Lays it in. And he's fouled. Worst case scenario for St. Martin's. Terashima lost control of the ball. Regathers beneath the basket. Hits the shot falling down. That is Marky Adams tagged with his first foul of this game. But it's a big one because it sends Terashima to the line for the and one.
Yeah, this is flashbacks a bit for that first game against Seattle Pacific. The Falcons, it was a close game there until the Falcons really took the momentum from the Saints in the final minutes. Here the Nighthawks doing the same thing. Saints are going to have to go quick, though. I'd like to see maybe try and get a quick look down to Marky Adams. If it isn't there, Tyke Thompson for a three, or maybe even Ty Velasquez.
Nighthawks showing pressure in backcourt for the final 11 seconds of the half. Thompson whistles a pass over midcourt into the hands of Velasquez. Lots of time for St. Martin's. Thompson, though, will trigger the three. A little bit strong. He's after the rebound, but it comes down to Reedy. He drives, steps into a 27-footer. His time expires, nails it! Are you kidding me? What a run to end the half for Northwest Nazarene. Reedy able to gather himself from about 26 feet out. Hits the three as the first half clock expires. And all of a sudden, out of absolute nowhere, it's an 18-point lead for Northwest Nazarene as we hit the break. 48-30 our score. We'll take an extended break here on the broadcast, but please rejoin us in about 11, maybe 12 minutes time for a look at first half stats and a look ahead to second half action between the Saints and the Nighthawks on the GNAC Digital Network.
Saints fans, we have a special weekend coming up, February 12th and 13th, homecoming weekend on St. Martin's University. And even though we can't have you here personally, we are still going to have a special virtual event for our 2021 Hall of Honor, Hall of Fame class. Stay tuned here for a quick interview, a preview of what you're going to see on homecoming weekend, St. Martin's University.
First of all, congratulations on your 2021 Hall of Honor selection as part of the 2008 women's golf team. Stacy, what does this award mean for you?
I was really excited when I heard the news. We worked really hard my senior year, and, it was an awesome group of girls. So I'm very honored to be able to get inducted into the Hall of Fame.
And what are some fond memories or reflections that you have of your time at St. Martin's and specifically with the golf team in general?
Well, traveling was probably the biggest thing. I mean, we got to go to some awesome we went to Hawaii and Texas and California, and we got to go on a lot of really fun trips. It was a great group of girls. We had a lot of fun together. So I have a lot of great memories with the team, kind of even outside of golf, just kind of all the fun we had, besides playing golf and getting to play, all these awesome courses.
And speak to the whole experience of St. Martin's. Not everybody knows you're not just an athlete, you're a student athlete. What are some fond memories that you have of your time at St. Martin's University as a student as well?
Just kind of the relationships I made, a lot of great friends that, I still talk to, today. And, I really enjoyed kind of the small school atmosphere. So, small class sizes and really getting to know teachers and the students and kind of that whole, kind of being involved on that whole side.
Well, thank you very much for your time here today. And once again, congratulations on your 2021 Hall of Honor induction. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
And welcome back inside Marcus Pavilion. It's Jeff Lucero alongside Austin Burns. And before we get into a look at first half stats from the men's game, this is not, I repeat, this is not the only game going on tonight between these two these two institutions anyway. We have women's basketball action to report. Looks like we've got time winding down from Nampa, Idaho. Austin, what do you have for us in terms of a score and whatever's going on over there?
Well, right now, Jeff, the Saints are up by 6, a second half offensive surge. And get this, Claire Dingus, 25 points.
My goodness.
16 rebounds and 5 assists.
Woo!
Wow, what a night for the junior.
Somebody might be well on her way to GNAC Player of the Year on the women's side. My goodness, that is a stat line to be terrified of if you're an opponent.
Now, she came into tonight averaging 12 rebounds a game, one of the best rebounders in the entire country. This number only going to help, and the Saints now just 20 seconds away. They're going to be shooting free throws, and if they can get 2 here, you'd have to think the Saints are going to take down the Nighthawks in Nampa.
Yeah, what a win that would be for this team. I mean, we know it. Northwest Nazarene's women's program has been absolutely sparkling the last handful of seasons in the GNAC. They have been up at the top of the league along with Anchorage each of the last 4 or 5 seasons. Those are by far the 2 preeminent programs. They, of course, lost a lot of players off of that Nighthawk squad coming into this season, but boy, that is an absolute load. What a win that would be for head coach Christy Martin if they are, in fact, able to hold on. Let's quickly look at some of the first half action between the Saints and Nighthawks over on the men's side of things. A 14-2 explosion in under 2 minutes with 1:57 to play in the first half. Northwest Nazarene was ahead 34-28 and then ripped off a 14-2 run in the final minute and 57 seconds of the half to stake themselves to a 48-30 lead. Saints have a lot of work to do in the second half, to be sure. In the first half, Northwest Nazarene was just pretty much red hot throughout. Now their shooting average is up to 61%, 19 of 31 from the floor. They're still blazing, just scorching hot from beyond the arc. 7 of 13 from 3. They've connected on all 3 of their free throws as well. Out-rebounded the Saints to the tune of 20-12, so just punishing St. Martin's on the glass. One player in double figures, that's George Reedy. Saints have yet to figure him out. He's got 11 points on 5 of 9 shooting from the floor. 9 points as well for Gabe Murphy. He's a perfect 4 for 4 from the floor. 8 more points for Brandon Recheck and half a dozen for Kobe Terashima. Very balanced attack for Northwest Nazarene. For the Saints in the first half, they shoot 10 of 29, 34.5% from the floor, 3 of 12 from 3, and 7 of 9 at the line. Tyke Thompson continues to lead the Saints with 7 points, but he has not scored in about 8 minutes of time on the floor. 6 points for John Moore, 5 more for Ty Velasquez off the bench. But suddenly, out of absolutely nowhere, the Saints trail 18. Austin, they've got a mountain to climb here in the second half.
Yeah, Saints are going to have to do a great job starting the second half defensively. That's going to have to be the key to shut down the Nighthawks, get a few stops, and then use that offense to get going. But to me, the defense needs to lock in like it was halfway through the first half.
It will be Saints basketball to begin the second half. Saints in white, Nighthawks in red. Remember, these are 2 schools with the same color scheme, so it's worth pointing out to those of you watching from wherever you are. The Saints are in their traditional home whites, Nighthawks in red. Saints now moving it left to right on your radio dial. Schumacher on the drive. Skips a pass behind his back and pulls up from the elbow. Knocks down the 16-footer. Beautiful move to free himself from the defender from Schumacher. Calmly steps into the mid-range jumper. And the Saints on the board in the second half. Kick ball will reset things here at the Nighthawks in on their first possession of the second frame. And how happy must head coach Paul Rush be about that 14-2 tear that Northwest Nazarene went on to close out the first half. And how about that 3 from George Reedy from about 25, 26 feet as time expired in the half. He handles here. Thompson helps out on defense. Marky Adams with a big-time block on the shot attempt from Gabe Murphy, and back come the Saints. Lang reverses it back to Schumacher on the near side. Drives on Reedy, spins, now kicks. Wang looks inside, down low for Adams. Goes to work, chest to chest, turns to his left. Ball stripped away by Sam Roth. And the turnover gives it right back to Northwest Nazarene. Saints need to string some baskets together, hopefully early here in the first half, in order to get themselves back into contention in this game. But this is the first of 2 games between the Nighthawks and Saints on the weekend. Tough little scoop runner won't fall for Roth. Weak side rebound gathered by Gabe Murphy. He got slightly undercut. That foul on the floor. The first of the second half for either team. Makes it ball out of bounds for the Nighthawks beneath their own basket. Terashima to trigger. Whistles a pass up top into the hands of George Reedy. Skips to his left with a couple of lefty dribbles. Reverses it back into the hands of Alley, who had a very quiet first half. Alley scored the first points of the game. We scarcely heard from him again, but didn't really have to do much. All of a sudden, Marky Adams with 2 quick blocks right out of the chute here in the second half. So Adams more than holding his own down in the post. 2 blocks in the first minute and a half of the second half. Wang. Pass skips off the hands of Moore, but Schumacher there to retrieve it. Adams comes out to set the high screen. Shot clock nearing 5. Tyke Thompson steps into a 3. Steps back for 3, leaves it short. Good box out from Gabe Murphy. Taps the rebound over to Terashima now. Alley on the leak out. Did Schumacher get his feet set? He did. Alex Schumacher draws the charge. And the Nighthawks a little sluggish to begin the second half. They've had a couple of shots blocked, and now the offensive foul goes on Zeke Alley, his second. Team's first of the half.
Yeah, Nighthawks had an opportunity there, 2-on-1. Alley just brings the ball too deep into the paint. Right there, you would have liked to have seen the pass go out just a step earlier, would have allowed him to get around Schumacher, and it would have been an easy layup for the Nighthawks.
Yeah, Zeke Alley perhaps just forcing it a little bit there. You know he wants to get it going. He had just 5 points in the first half on 2 of 6 shooting. Hit that first 3, but missed his last 3. Now whistled for his second foul. Nighthawks have not needed his services all that much tonight, though. They lead it by 16, early stages of the second half. Malloy back on the floor for the Saints. Handles here. Bounces a pass to Moore, now comes to get it. Gets into the chest of a couple different players. DeMonte Malloy just pinballing around on his way to the paint. Foul on the floor. We'll give the ball back out of bounds to the Saints. That one also whistled against Zeke Alley. So back-to-back fouls on Zeke Alley will send him to the bench. He's now got 3 in this contest, and he'll be replaced on the floor by Jalen Fox.
And an update from Nampa. The Saints are victorious 69-64.
Yes. What a win.
That's a huge win for Christy Martin and that team.
Congratulations to the women's squad for the Saints. Huge game for Claire Dingus as well. Fantastic stuff. Saints getting deep into the shot clock yet again. Tyke Thompson twisting, turning, feathers up her shot in the paint. And the Northwest Nazarene still scoreless to start here in the second half. What a shot from Tyke Thompson, and another offensive foul. Saints are playing with their hair on fire through the first 3 minutes of the second half. A couple of blocks from Marky Adams and a couple of charges drawn. Nighthawks unable to get anything going here to start the second half.
Well, this is exactly what the Saints needed. Like I said, defense has to be key. Take the momentum, the wind out of the sails for the Nighthawks. And then for the Saints, it's now just about trying to get those offensive possessions to go in. They need some offense here, though, to capitalize on this great defense they're playing.
By the way, that was the 3rd foul as well for James Nelson. The microwave off the bench has to take a seat, replaced on the floor by Christian Rose. Now Thompson goes to work, steps back, 18-footer on the way, no good, but he's fouled, he'll head to the line. That foul whistled against Sam Roth, and quickly 4 fouls already on Northwest Nazarene in the first 3 minutes and change of the second half. That'll send Thompson to the line. So everything going St. Martin's way for now here in the second frame. Thompson hits the first free throw as Brandon Recheck rejoins the fray. He'll check in, replacing Sam Roth on the floor. That was just Roth's first foul. But again, the Nighthawks already with 4 fouls here to start the half. Thompson connects on both free throws. A 6-0 run for the Saints as they try to creep their way back into this thing. 3:15 gone by. The Nighthawks still scoreless here to start the second half.
Well, what a response for the Saints. Sorry, Jeff. What a response. They've just done such a great job. It's something that Aaron Landon talked about. His team is learning how to fight back from, those quick runs.
Recheck, a wide open corner 3 won't go. Back come the Saints. Thompson tries to get around the man, but turns it over. Called for palming the basketball. So the first mistake of the second half for the Saints. But you like to see the aggression from Tyke Thompson. Was looking to call his own number. Just got his hand a little bit too far beneath that basketball. Fox between the circles. Moore comes out to get him. Wang. And look at this. The Saints they've switched into a man-to-man. We don't see this a whole lot, but Aaron Landon told us at the start of the season he was going to play a little bit more man-to-man defense this year. Reedy finally misses one of those lefty layups. He's been slithering his way into the paint and to the rack with impunity throughout this game. Finally a shot won't fall out of his hand, and still Northwest Nazarene scoreless for the first 4 minutes and 20 seconds of this second half. Schumacher down low, shot too strong. Malloy the offensive rebound. Schumacher on the other side gathers his putback, lays it up and in, and he's fouled. An 8-0 run for the Saints to begin the second half with a chance for more. It'll be Alex Schumacher headed to the line for the and one opportunity when we return. My, oh my, if this isn't exactly what Aaron Landon was hoping for coming out of the second half break. It's an 8-0 run for the Saints. Nighthawks still scoreless here in the second half.
Every time a student learns something new, makes a discovery, or helps a team, it's not just good for that student, it's good for the whole community. At St. Martin's University, we know the impact a well-prepared graduate can have on the world. That's why last year, we extended more than $15 million in scholarships to our students. Because the more we invest in them, the brighter the future becomes for all of us.
Well, you've heard me talk about it so many times already here at the start of the second half, but it bears worth repeating. Northwest Nazarene, after scoring 14 points in less than 2 minutes to end the first half, have since gone the first 4.5 minutes of the second half without a point. My goodness, a total 180. If you're a Northwest Nazarene fan, I'm sure that's got to be very frustrating for you and your squad. But for the Saints, this is exactly what they needed, and it will be Alex Schumacher headed to the line. Was able to convert, drew the foul, absorbed the contact, knocked it home to bring it back to a single-digit deficit at the free throw line.
Well, and for me, Jeff, Alex Schumacher, those are the plays that really you can tell he becomes locked in on the defensive zone when he's making strong plays at the basket. And it's when he is locked in on the defense, Saints just have a different feel. He's so good at taking away passes just like that.
Reedy just camped out in the paint. Whistle blows, but not for 3 seconds. Rather, a foul whistled against St. Martin's. That one's going against Marky Adams. That's his second personal and the Saints' second team foul here in the half, and it will send George Reedy to the line. Reedy with 11 first half points can give Northwest Nazarene their first points of the second half, and he does. Calmly knocks down the first free throw. A 9-0 run to start the second half and bring the Saints back well within shouting distance here to begin the half. Really good on both free throws. Lead back to 11, 50-39, just over 15 to play. Schumacher drifts his way up the court. Hands it off for Thompson. Now Malloy on the drive. Tries to free himself of Recheck. Does exactly that. DeMonte Malloy calmly steps into an 8-foot floater, floating away from the basket. What a move from Malloy. Skip pass to the corner for Recheck, guarded there by Malloy. Now works his way down the baseline. Into the hands of Terashima. His 13-foot floater won't go, but he is fouled, and he'll head to the line. That's on Adams as well, so back-to-back fouls on Marky Adams. Now we've got 3 players in this game with 3 fouls, 2 for Northwest Nazarene, leading scorer Zeke Alley, along with James Nelson with 3 fouls, and now Marky Adams with 3 of his own for the Saints. Terashima, a little strong with the first free throw. It bangs off the back iron. Wang back on the floor, replacing Adams with those 3 fouls. And Paul Rush will call on Drew Farron to come in. He'll replace Gabe Murphy on the floor. 5 on the floor for St. Martin's. John Moore, Alex Schumacher, DeMonte Malloy, Goy Wang, and Tyke Thompson. So both teams a little smaller on the floor without Murphy for the Nighthawks and Adams for the Saints on the deck. 51-47 our score, 14.5 minutes to play. Schumacher, wide open 3, got it! Alex Schumacher draws the Saints within 7. They trailed by 18 at halftime, nearly forces a turnover at the other end. Saints are playing inspired basketball. We said it during the pregame show, Austin, this is a team very capable of playing brilliant stretches of basketball. They put it all on display in the first half against Seattle Pacific in their first meeting. They led that game by 23 points at one point in the first frame.
Yeah, and it's a team that had a deep run in the second half against Portland State, and you can kind of feel it. If that one would have gone down right there, man, you could feel it. The Saints, they're locked in right now. They are loving this.
Recheck on the drive. Runs over the defender, a third offensive foul called against the Nighthawks here in the second half. 3 charges drawn already by the Saints through 7 minutes. Make it 6 minutes of the second half. My goodness. Saints just doing it all at both ends.
Yeah, and it's Schumacher and Thompson, 2 of your most explosive offensive players, are getting back on the defensive end. They're seeing the rotations. And right now, if you're Aaron Landon, you have to be just thrilled to see the effort those 2 guys are giving on the defensive end tonight.
And dig this, that's 6 fouls on the Nighthawks with 14 minutes left in this game. Saints will be shooting free throws with each foul from Northwest Nazarene the rest of the way. Recheck in transition. Pass to the corner, but standing on the sideline when he fields the pass is Jalen Fox. So yet another turnover here in the second half for Northwest Nazarene. Just 3 points to show for their effort through 6.5 minutes here in the second frame. Schumacher meanders up the floor. Calls for a screen. Wang instead drops down low. Schumacher backs it out, 12 on the shot clock. The switch puts Roth on him. Looks for some help, finds it with Thompson. Thompson looks to go to work, pulls up for 3 instead. Got it! Tyke Thompson has brought the Saints within 4 points, 51-47. All Saints here in the second half. My goodness. What has happened to this team? Beautiful look down low. Thompson with the block. Recheck gathers, fires away from deep and knocks it down. Much needed long-range bucket courtesy of Brandon Recheck. Back to a 7-point lead. Malloy backs down the defender. Shot is on its way, it's good. DeMonte Malloy just going to work, abusing Sam Roth in the post. 54-49 now, 12.5 to play.
Jeff, the only thing I'm thinking about right now is how much I want fans in Marcus Pavilion. How loud would this place be after that 3-pointer?
Yeah, noise just bounces off of this curved roof It gets really loud in here. Oh, look at Schumacher pick the pocket. Races out, gets all the way to the rack, lays it up and in! Draws the foul ahead of the line. 54-51. Alex Schumacher almost packed it. Like I said, he laid it in. It was pretty close, sort of one of those in-between dunks. Wanted the full punch, but kind of pulled off at just the last moment still.
I think he felt the pressure right behind him, but you know what? All that matters at the end of the day, ball went through the hoop, and now he gets a chance for another and one. And that's a smart timeout by Northwest Nazarene right there.
That
momentum
was called on Sam Roth. That's his second. Again, more importantly, that's 17 fouls already here on Northwest Nazarene in the second half. Remember, the Saints will be shooting free throws the rest of the way, and it will be Alex Schumacher at the line for the and one opportunity when we return.
Opportunity to me means doing the things that will make you a better future. I always dreamed of graduating from college. So being the first one in my family to graduate, it meant everything my parents sacrificed was paying off. Having an athletic scholarship for the University of Mount Olive was key for my success. I had the opportunity to not only get an education, but be able to develop as an individual.
It was a 14-2 run that left the Saints staggered and bewildered to end the first half for Northwest Nazarene. It gave the Nighthawks an 18-point lead. Here in the second half, check this out. 21-5 run to open things up. Saints have shaved all but 3 points off that lead. Making a 21-6 run. My math is terrible. It's never been my strong suit, but at any rate, Alex Schumacher headed to the line with a chance to really bring the Saints that much closer, right back into this game.
Yeah, a lot of feeling to Tuesday night when the Saints made that run, and once again, it's off the back of the defensive pressure the Saints are putting on the Nighthawks. We saw the steal, which is what led out to that breakout for Schumacher for the Saints, and that one rims out, nearly an offensive rebound. Saints are they're flying around the court. They're loving it. The momentum's on their side. Need another stop here. You need to see you finally at least tie the game and that hard work pay off.
Yeah, both teams going very small now. Not a true post player in sight. All 10 guys on the floor, wings and guards.
Remember what I said at Portland State when they had troubles without Marquis Adams on the floor. It felt like there was too many shooters. Saints are doing the same thing here.
Quick release for Jalen Fox. Offensive rebound. Christian Rose can't get his shot to fall. Gets it back. A second putback won't fall. And Seth Coddington clears for the Saints. Hands it off for Schumacher. Tries for three. Leaves it short. Gets his own. Gets to the rack. Lays it up. Oh, just does lip out. Rebound Sam Roth for the Nighthawks.
What an opportunity there. But there he is. There's Schumacher. He knows it, and he's locked in. He just wants the ball back. He wants another shot at tying this game.
He is ball hawking right now. He draws the assignment on Terashima. Now Rose picks up his dribble. Velasquez helps out. Now Fox. Recheck reverses into the hands of Terashima. 6 on the shot clock. Crosses over on Schumacher. Kicks to the corner of Roth. 3 on the way. That one bounds out. Rebound, Tyke Thompson. Bounce pass ahead for Coddington. Steers it back toward the middle of the floor. Ball deflected out of bounds by Terashima. And that'll bring us to another stoppage in play. Marquis Adams will check back in for the Saints when we return. It's all of a sudden a 3-point game, 10:48 to play on the GNAC Digital Network.
NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Austin, for as good as the Saints looked for the first 18 and a half minutes of their game against Seattle Pacific in their home opener just last weekend, I'd say I'm more impressed with the run that they're putting on here in the second half of this game. Here's why. They're doing it from a huge deficit. They were absolutely, they took a huge gut punch at the end of the first half, and look how they've responded. After that 14-2 run in 2 minutes, they have come out here and given Northwest Nazarene every single thing they've got.
I couldn't agree more, Jeff, just for the exact reason you said. You're playing a very good basketball team in Northwest Nazarene. 18-point deficit at halftime. Teams could roll over and go, you know what, we got a game against them tomorrow night. Let's regroup. Let's get them tomorrow night. Instead, the Saints are going, no. We want them tonight. And it's what a response for SMU. But again, you're climbing this large mountain to come back. You have to reach the summit. You have to at least tie the game. You have to get that to feel like, okay, we've done it. As long as Northwest Nazarene can hold here at this point for the next few minutes, then it will kind of settle the dust. So these next 2 minutes, critical to the momentum going into the final minutes.
Yeah, the 21-6 second half run continues for the Saints. They've got the ball out of the timeout. And they're going to look right down low for Marky Adams. Back on the floor as well as Gabe Murphy. Adams, no luck against him.
Great defense.
Forced to wheel it back out into the hands of John Moore. Now Schumacher. Time winding down the shot clock. He hits 5. Rolls off the Adams screen. Steps back. Behind the three-point line. Shot is away. And he ties the game. Alex Schumacher has knotted this game at 54. Brand new ball game with 10:15 to play. 24-6 run for the Saints to begin the second half. How about that?
And he had a big man in front of him stepping up. That was a hard shot for Schumacher. And now the defense for the Saints needs to come up. Another offensive rebound. Second chance opportunities killing St. Martin's.
We have an official's
I
whistle.
think
They're going to stop the clock and sort things out here. Not quite sure.
I think what they're saying is the shot clock should have reset. It's down to 6 seconds right now. I don't know what the thought process, maybe if the ball would have hit the rim, that should have triggered a reset, and we will go to a media timeout. But let's go back to that three-pointer.
Exactly, yes. Let's go back to that three. I want to talk about it. With the shot clock expiring, Alex Schumacher drains the three to tie the game. The Saints have come all the way back.
I mean, you can see here on this play, just nothing. Schumacher drives. He has nothing there, just desperation three. And the three goes in. You can see the bench exploding for the Saints. They are happy. They're pumped. Why wouldn't you be? I mean, what a game this has been. And you know, taking a look at the women's side, they had 27 fourth-quarter points to lead that charge at the end.
27 points in the fourth quarter?
Fourth quarter
My
alone.
goodness.
And so now you kind of look up at the board and you go, why not here in Lacey, too?
Well, yeah, the men's team has put 24 points in 10 minutes of this. Of what I guess would well, not technically, but is unofficially the third quarter of our game here tonight. 24-6 run, as good as the Saints have been at the offensive end. How about their effort at the defensive end? They have held this Nighthawks team, who put 48 on them in the first half, to 6 points in 10 minutes of the second half so far.
And it's a very good offensive team. They share the ball well. The shots just are not going in, and it's kind of one of those where it's a snowball effect. Things start trickling against you, and all of a sudden they rapidly go against you. Right now, though, huge offensive possession. Great play call from the coaching staff.
Look for all the world like Marky Adams might be able to rotate back and deflect that shot away, but you called it. That was a very well-designed play out of the timeout by the Nighthawks. As they are reeling right now. Boy, do they need that basket. Schumacher on the near side for three again, and the Saints with their first lead of the night at 57-56. Back-to-back threes from Schumacher to give them their first lead. And a turnover. Tyke Thompson on the run out. Hands it off for Schumacher. Gets to the rack. No good. Tyke Thompson, the put-back tip in is good, and the Saints lead it by 3.
Schumacher just unbelievable. He's hot. And just get him the ball again.
Another turnover. Schumacher for 3. Oh, my goodness. It would have brought the house down.
I think the whole bench was ready to come out. Maybe on the court. They were jumping.
I might have gone on the court if he had made that.
Oh, can you imagine the crowd in Marcus Pavilion right now? Holy cow.
Wow.
Wow.
Hopefully the fans that are tuned into this game are having as much fun as we are with this thing. My, oh, my.
That was a bit of a heat check right there for Schumacher, but whew. Right there, if you're the Saints, you got to keep in defensively. You got to get to this media timeout with a defensive stop here. You're going to need 2 of them actually to get to that media timeout.
Saints run sits at 29-8 here in the second half. Alley handles. Little jab step, now kicks to the corner. Reedy will try for 3. It bounds out. Offensive rebound, and the putback is good for James Nelson, back on the floor with his 3 fouls. Remember, Nelson and Alley with 3 fouls apiece for the Nighthawks. Another much needed, very critical basket for this Nighthawks team.
Well, offensive rebounding has kept the Nighthawks right here in this game. It has been their biggest asset tonight.
Thompson goes to work. His 12-footer along the baseline won't fall. Adams taps it into the hands of Nelson. He drives the other way. Stop short, hands it off. Beautiful play. Look at Reedy flying in from the weak side. What a heady play from James Nelson to keep from drawing, potentially anyway, his 4th foul. Would have been the 4th charge of the second half against the Nighthawks, but stops on a dime, hands it off, gets the assist. Coddington rolls off the high screen from Adams. 10 on the shot clock as they find Moore down low. He traveled with the basketball. I believe he did. It is. Well, Austin, that brings us to that media timeout you talked about. We're under 8 to play. Saints now with a look at that. Nighthawks have worked their way back into a 1-point lead. They lead at 60-59. Man, oh man, hang on to your hats. The last 8 minutes should be fun.
Every time a student learns something new, makes a discovery, or helps a team, it's not just good for that student, it's good for the whole community. At St. Martin's University, we know the impact a well-prepared graduate can have on the world. That's why last year, we extended more than $15 million in scholarships to our students. Because the more we invest in them, the brighter the future becomes, for all of us.
Well, it has been a consummate team effort at the defensive end for St. Martin's here in the second half. But at the offensive end, it's basically on the strength and shoulders of 2 dudes in white tonight that the Saints have been riding here throughout this second half run. Alex Schumacher and Tyke Thompson now each up to 16 points in this ball game. Listen to the stat line as well for Tyke Thompson. 16 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals. Tyke Thompson having himself a night, but really and truly, it's been the Alex Schumacher show for the last few minutes for the Saints.
Yeah, he's just an explosive weapon. Schu is that consistent. Alex Schumacher just gives you that explosion, and not many players can do that. And that's why there was a lot of hype about him when he came in here to St. Martin's. It's plays like that. You know, there was Division I's last year who couldn't even figure out how to stop him. So if he can get that more of a consistent attack, he's going to be a very, very good basketball player. And there it is.
Gets the steal, slows things down, waits for his teammates to join him.
He had Tyke Thompson on the far side, just couldn't find him.
Now Velasquez, who's been quiet tonight, but has been a really good player for the Saints. Wang comes out to get it, plenty of time on the shot clock. Now Schumacher, hawked out front by Jalen Fox. Reverses it to Malloy. They look down low for Thompson. He's got a mismatch, but nothing doing. Malloy now drives, kicks to Velasquez, 3 on the way. Looks short, and it is. Long rebound, caroms out for James Nelson.
Nelson's
been up, and here comes Terashima for the Nighthawks.
Nelson's been such a great weapon off the bench, and here he is driving, but that's going to be
an offensive foul. It's not. Oh, my goodness.
Inside the circle, and that's a good call. Looked at the last second, and Schu did have his heels right there, but he was in place in time just inside that circle.
That would have been a huge momentum swing once again for St. Martin's. That would have been the 4th on Nelson. Instead, it sends him to the line.
Yeah, but Nelson's been such a great weapon for them. Just doing it all. Rebounding, scoring, really having a great game tonight.
And don't look now, but this is a 6-0 run for Northwest Nazarene to not only get right back into this game.
And they're a good offensive team. This is what they can do. And they're also, you can see, they're not getting rattled at all.
Nelson flying around the floor once again. Knocks that pass out of bounds. That outlet intended for Wang, but Nelson playing free safety back there. Knocks it away. Schumacher to trigger. Facing him, George Reedy. Leaves it up top. A lot of contact. That could have been the fourth foul on Nelson. Referee keeps the whistle in the pocket. Now Malloy on the drive. Oh, my goodness. How did that not go down? Malloy gets all the way to the rack. Blew right through the contact. Strong take from Malloy. You love to see it. Three at the other end won't go, and here's Schumacher running out. Thompson walks into a three, lets it fly, leaves it a little bit too strong, and Goi Wang called for the loose ball foul.
Well, I liked what DeMonte did there. He knew Nelson couldn't really guard him super tight because he doesn't want to pick up that fourth foul. Gets right to the rim, and like you said, I don't know how that one didn't go in. It touched everything on the rim before going out.
Yeah, well, the Saints have cooled off here. They have not scored in a few minutes now. Remember, they fought all the way back from that 18-point deficit, took a 3-point lead, but it's a 7-0 run now for Northwest Nazarene, and they've got possession. Terashima walks it over the timeline. But an offensive foul is whistled against Terashima as he just sort of pivoted one way and wound up setting an illegal screen kind of by accident. So that's a lucky break for St. Martin's, especially with the Nighthawks building all this momentum right back.
Yeah, this has been a game of momentums for sure, and right now Northwest Nazarene has regrouped. They're settled back in, and for the Saints, what you're going to have to do, I think you have to try and get something going towards the rim and get to the free throw line possibly as a bonus. You got to get some action towards the rim.
Both teams with smaller lineups on the floor once again. Schumacher thinks about driving, now hands it off. Thompson back to Wang. He'll try for three. High arching shot won't fall. And a foul going against Northwest Nazarene. That'll send the Saints to the line for a 1-and-1.
Well, it wasn't the action towards the rim, but you got what you needed at the end of the day in a foul and a free throw attempt.
It's a big one as well. That is James Nelson's fourth personal.
Yeah, he'll be out for about 2 minutes, I would assume, about that media timeout. He'll probably be back on the floor again with his 7 rebounds in just 10 minutes.
Replaced on the floor by Sam Roth. It's a 1-and-1 opportunity for DeMonte Malloy. Malloy steadies, rocks, fires, nails it. That's the first point for the Saints in a little while.
That's just what the free throws do. They can help slow the game down and get you back in the right mindset.
Malloy earns the bonus. Second on the way. Rattles off. So for the second time tonight, Malloy earns a bonus, but is unable to connect on said shot. Moore guards Alley. Zeke Alley with a very quiet night, just 5 points so far in this game. He'll try for three here. Got it. Man, oh, man. I guess that was the reverse broadcaster's jinx. The first points from Alley in quite some time. Northwest Nazarene falls asleep with the other end, and Schumacher glides in with the answer. 66-62 our score. Terashina slams on the brakes. Now Alley puts a couple of moves on Moore, then hands it off.
Yeah, credit John Moore. Done such a great job defensively tonight on Alley.
Here's Jalen Fox now with it. 10 on the shot clock as Reedy goes to work on Malloy. Gets around him. A whistle blows. What have we here? A foul called against St. Martin's. I think the Saints were already kind of headed the other way, thinking that that was going to be an offensive foul. Instead, it's whistled against Malloy, his second, the team's 7th. And that pushes Northwest Nazarene into the bonus. So a 1-and-1 opportunity upcoming for George Reedy and the Nighthawks.
Yeah, if I'm the Saints kind of looking up, you know you have a media timeout coming up in about a minute. You're going to have 2 offensive possessions more than likely. You need to convert on one and come up with a defensive stop and go into this media timeout going, okay, we're only down 1 possession, possibly even tied if you're able to score on both.
Reedy earns the bonus, knocks it down as well. So the lead now back to 6 for Northwest Nazarene. Credit the Nighthawks. They absorbed all of that body work from the Saints, and now they've restaked themselves to a 6-point lead as we just move under 5 minutes to play. Malloy spins, kicks. Now over to Schumacher for 3. Got it, Alex Schumacher. Another huge second half 3. It cuts the lead in half. 68-65 our score, and Alex Schumacher have a day.
Well, three-point shooting has not been his strength as of late, but really it's all coming together tonight for him.
21 points, In the game now for Alex Schumacher. A whole mess of them coming here in the second half. Fox on the drive. Pass nearly intercepted by Moore. Instead, it's back to Reedy. Accelerates, gets to the rack, leaves it short. Long rebound, tapped out into the hands of Allie. Now Terashina on the drive. Runs right into Goy Wang. And it's another blocking call beneath the Northwest Nazarene bucket. And it will send Kobe Terashima to the free throw line.
Another second chance opportunity for Northwest Nazarene. They have been all over that here tonight.
That's the fourth foul now on Wang, so a couple of Saints creeping up there.
I almost would like to see maybe Ty Velasquez get back on the court here just for a few minutes.
Alex Schumacher here in the second half, Austin.
Yeah.
We just can't say enough. He's got 21 points now, 4 for 7 from 3, 8 of 18 from the floor. He's also got 4 rebounds, 3 steals of his own in 30 minutes of work. This is by far the best we've seen Alex Schumacher look this season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, you knew it was just kind of like almost a ticking time bomb with him. He was going to be able, and I should have said in the pregame, you know, even though he may have struggled a bit offensively, what Portland State talked about was he creates so much more for his team. He's such a factor. X factor, and you know he can just absolutely come alive. And so we're seeing it here tonight, and what it's forcing Northwest Nazarene to do is really they have to put one with a guy kind of playing that safety, because he's gonna get past your defender right now. And so for the Saints, though, Tyke Thompson, I think, needs to keep going. He was really playing well offensively, 16 points. I'd like to see him kind of get maybe back into the motion as well, try and maybe set a three-point play for him.
By the way, we're in a referee's timeout. They are over at the scores table reviewing something. Not sure what, but something. They're taking a look at something on the monitor. They are, all three of them now, hunkered over that table, trying to sort out, well, something anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe
this is one of
I don't
the
want to speculate.
To being on the opposite side of the floor, we don't really know what they're looking at and what they're talking about. Not sure what they saw on that last sequence. I can't think of anything that stood out to me anyway in that last sequence before we went to this timeout.
Maybe the
they're
only
trying to figure out who the foul should have been called on.
Only thing I can maybe think of is an incidental contact around the upper
possible.
head area,
yeah.
and maybe looking at that. I mean, again, don't want to speculate too much, but those are some of the few things that pop up into my mind.
Well, they're coming over and talking to head coach Aaron Landon about it. Now they're huddling up back at midcourt. By the way, Northwest Nazarene, after shooting over 60% in the first half, 19 of 31, they've connected on just 6 of 20 buckets here in the second half. So 61% in the first half, just 30% from the floor for Northwest Nazarene here in the second half. But give them credit, Austin. They have come roaring back right into this game. If not for that Alex Schumacher three a moment ago.
Now, this is a good team. Again, if this was a normal year with the full GNAC playing, I had Northwest Nazarene pretty high in the rankings. I had Seattle Pacific number 1. Northwest Nazarene, for me, probably would have been in that 2-3 range. I really do like them. I think they're a great team. And it looks like we're going to have another session and talk about it. It just gives us more time.
Sure,
you know, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and look at the chat. Let's go look at some of the things that people have been saying in the broadcast. And you know, Jeff, we wish they were here, and they're typing in the chat. It's been loud even in their own living rooms as they're watching the game, jumping up and down. Imagine them all here inside Marcus Pavilion. We miss you guys. It is not the same.
We really, really do. I just so look forward to a time when fans are able to come back to games in regular numbers as they have traditionally down through time. But here's the flip side of it, too, is it's just so important for these athletes to get back onto the field of play and compete. Like, this is what a lot of these guys really live for in a lot of regards. Basketball is a huge part of life for this program. And it means the absolute world to me as a fan, as a spectator, as someone who gets to sit here and talk to you about this game, to be able to know that they're back out there doing something that they love so much and are so passionate about. It's all about these players being able to compete.
Yeah, in the first semester going into the break, the only thing we talked about as a department was how do we get these athletes back on the court and on the field safely, because we know how important it is for them to be back into that routine. And these kids have worked hard. There is a lot of protocols, a lot of rules that they have to follow, and they've done a phenomenal job. And hat off to our athletic training staff, our administration. They've done a great job to get us here tonight. We've been lucky and we've been blessed to be able to be here and call this game.
Well, we are back to action here. I don't know if they were trying to maybe the determining factor was whether if it was a foul on the floor or a two-shot foul. And they are signaling now for a two-shot foul. Terashima knocks down the first. The foul was called on Wang. So it was the Saints' 8th foul. So maybe they were just trying to determine whether it was shooting or on the floor. That's the best I can come up with anyway. Terashima connects on both free throws. Lead now back to 5, 70-65, 4:20 to play here in the second half. Schumacher walks the ball across the timeline, guarded by Reedy. Surveys, hands it off for Thompson. Thompson gets it back. We'll see what Aaron Landon drew up during that timeout. Lots of time to think about it. Jab step and a 3 on the way from Thompson. No good. Wang flies in for the offensive rebound. But the best he can do is knock it out of bounds. So an empty trip out of the timeout. And the Saints can ill afford many more of those as time will be a factor. Not quite yet there. We're just at a 5-point lead for Northwest Nazarene with tons of time left in this thing. As Marquis Adams comes back to the floor, replacing Wang.
Yeah,
just like that. Point, counterpoint, back on the floor for Northwest Nazarene comes their big man, Gabe Murphy.
Yeah, what a battle it's been down low for those two tonight. They have been, they are strong individuals just going at each other. It's been fun to watch. I mean, we've had some great offensive scoring out on the guards, but just watch the battle down low between those two.
Terashima hands it off for Alley. Now back up top it comes for Allen, who's back on the floor with those 4 fouls. James Nelson. Alley into the high post for Terashima. Turns, finds the cutter along the baseline. It's George Reedy doing the rest. Terashima with another assist tonight. He's struggled throughout this contest, but has come up with timely assists, setting up his dudes, and he did exactly that right there. Just a brilliant play made by Terashima. Speaking of brilliant plays, it's Alex Shoemaker once again. Contorting midair, absorbs the contact, somehow gets the shot to fall off glass. Boy, oh boy, do the Saints need that. Another and one opportunity for Schumacher. Had a huge one earlier in this second half.
Well, just what I said earlier, you know he's going to get past his first defender. You have to have a second one in place. The help side defense just didn't come up fast enough, and it allowed Schumacher to be able to contort his body and get a shot up.
24 points now for Alex Schumacher. Those last 3 bring the Saints back within 4. The Saints now back in that zone defense with Adams on the floor. Reedy sealed off, backs it out. Back up top it comes for Zeke Alley. Guard at the top of the zone. Now they bring it down for Murphy. Kicks to the corner, 3 on the way. Nelson nails it, count it. Whistle on the opposite side. I think we'll send Northwest Nazarene to the line for a 1-and-1, but count the 3 out of the hand. And what a big one it was for James Nelson.
Yeah,
oh, my goodness. Tough break for the Saints.
You called him a microwave, and that's what he does. He comes on the floor, and he's just hot in an instant. Yep. It's unbelievable. The ability to pull a player like that off your bench is such a valuable piece, and that's what separates good teams from great teams. That piece to be able to pull off the bench and you know will be an immediate impact.
So once again, count the 3 for James Nelson. At the line for a 1-and-1 is George Reedy. Foul was away from the basket. Reedy earns the bonus. All of a sudden, it's already a 4-point possession. This could be, if Reedy can connect on the bonus, a 5-point possession for the Nighthawks.
Yeah, that takes a lot of momentum out for the Saints right there. So now you're going to need, I don't think you need a 3 by any means right now, Jeff. I think the Saints can still look to try and get that ball down low to Marquis Adams. I'd like to see him at least get a touch on the block, and then maybe even DeMonte Malloy cutting to the rim.
It's currently a 21-9 run for Northwest Nazarene, and time now very much a factor as the lead all the way back up to 9. Foul on the floor, whistled against Gabe Murphy. Didn't like the call, but it will send Marquis Adams to the line all the same. Both teams will be in the double bonus the rest of the way.
I love the competitiveness between these two teams right now.
Great,
you can tell how much both these teams want this game. It is such a hard-fought game. You'd almost feel like you're playing in a tournament win-or-go-home style, and we're just in the third home game of the year. I mean, man, these two teams are bringing it tonight.
Marky Adams either has one of the most incredible cowlicks I've ever seen or one of the most adorable tiny man buns I've ever seen. In any event, it's pretty darn cute. As Adams connects on both free throws, it brings the Saints back to within 7. It's 77-70, just under 3 minutes to play.
You know, it almost reminds me of, you look at Drew Timme at Gonzaga, you know, and he's known, right, for the mustache. He's got the hairband and the flowing hair. I want to see Marky rock that look next game. Let's see if we can draw that one up.
Well, you're the SID. You got a lot more access to him. You can talk to him about that. 7-point game, 2:45 to play. Terashima handles for the Nighthawks, guarded at the top of the zone by Wang. Actually, Saints now back in that man-to-man with Adams off the floor. Reedy over to Nelson. He travels with the basketball. So a costly turnover for Northwest Nazarene. Let's see if the Saints can capitalize. So very much in this ball game with a lot of basketball yet to go. 2:36 left, 7-point game.
Nothing's going to make a coach more upset than a turnover late in a basketball game.
Uncontested at that. Nelson just got his feet going a little bit too quickly. Let's see if the Saints can cash it in. Velasquez back on the floor, dribbles behind his back. Cut off now. It's a pass up front. Gathered in by Schumacher. Plenty of time on the shot clock, but the Saints do need to get to work. A basket on this possession would be huge for St. Martin's right now. Schumacher pulls up for three. Nails it! My goodness, Detta shot from Schu. Give him 27 in tonight's game. More than 20 of those here in the second half. What a shot from Alex Schumacher. Brings the Saints back within 4.
How do you not go to him again? I mean, for the rest of the game, I think you just have to put the ball in the hands of Zero and let him do what he's doing. He's connecting on everything right now.
At the other end, a foul whistled against Devontae Malloy. That's his 4th. As we mentioned, both teams now in the double bonus. Terashima goes to the line for Northwest Nazarene. Leaves it well short. That free throw never had a chance right out of his hand.
Yeah, one of their first misses on the free throw line. They've been really solid at the line here.
So let's set it for you for the Saints. Thompson, Wang, Schumacher, Velasquez, and Malloy. The 5 on the deck for St. Martin's. Quickly ahead, Velasquez for 3. In front of his own bench, leaves it short. A lot of red beneath that basket, and it's James Nelson who comes away with it. And the Nighthawks will look to slow things down. 5-point lead, under 2 to play now. Terashima hawked out front near the timeline by Schumacher. Roth comes out to set the screen. Wang nearly pokes it into backcourt, but it's gathered in by Zeke Alley. Very quiet for their leading scorer, but he hands it off beneath the basket. Sliding in from the weak side along the baseline is George Reedy. He raises with 2 hands and throws it down. Back to a 7-point game, under a minute and a half to play. That a huge, huge possession for Northwest Nazarene.
Just unselfish play.
At the Saints end, Tyke Thompson's 3 is a little short. Now Sam Roth on the run out, gets all the way to the rack, lays it up and in. Timeout, St. Martin's. Man, oh man, in the blink of an eye, we've gone from a 4-point game to a 9-point game. 71 seconds left in this thing. Northwest Nazarene, remember, Austin, at the top of the broadcast, what did we say? Northwest Nazarene did not get to 6-1 by accident on the season. They're not blowing people away by any means. Look at the results that they've played. They got blown out by Point Loma. That's nothing to be ashamed of. Point Loma, a loaded, absolutely blockbuster team. So no shame in going down there and getting routed. But in their games, teams have hung around, but here's the thing. Northwest Nazarene has won every single one of those games. They are closers, and they're doing it again right now.
Look, end of the day, what matters is the score at the end of the game. It doesn't matter how you got there. It matters how you finish the game. And NNU, exactly what you say, they take advantage at the end of the game, and they pull out W's. They're 6-1, and they're on the verge of being 7-1. They're a good squad, and they don't make too many mistakes. And so for St. Martin's, I mean, you've had Schumacher, you had that open 3 for Velasquez in transition, and it's hard to go against an open 3 in transition. It is. But with how Alex Schumacher has been shooting, I think you just have to get the ball in his hands. So for St. Martin's, you're going to need pressure defense. You're going to need to come away with some steals. And you're going to have to connect on, again, I don't think you need a three-pointer right now if you can go quick down low. But it doesn't look like Marky Adams is going to be on the floor. So I think the Saints are kind of hedging their bets right now and going for the 3-and-D style down in the last minute and 11 seconds.
It has been Alex Schumacher that the Saints have turned to time and again here in the second half. He's got a game-high 27 points here tonight, 5 of 8 from 3. Gathers it in, and he's fouled in backcourt by George Reedy. He'll head to the line. Reedy, on the other hand, has really put together an impressive game of his own. 23 points, 8 of 17 from the floor. He's been good on all 6 of his free throws. Also a team-high 8 rebounds for Reedy.
Yeah, right there, kind of one of the only mistakes he's made all game. He kind of got baited in and lunged too aggressively, and now Schumacher connecting on his first. That's exactly what the Saints needed. You take a second off the clock and a chance to put 2 points up on the board.
That was a heady play from Schumacher. As you see players do frequently with time winding down in a half, waited for that inbounds ball to trickle all the way to his feet. Reedy just gambled at it, tried to stab at the ball, wound up running right over Alex Schumacher. That was a heady play by Schumacher as much as it was a tough play for Reedy. Now some pressure in backcourt. Nighthawks able to break it. Over a minute. Here's Zeke Alley on the drive. Finds Sam Rothstreak into the basket, lays it up and in from the weak side. So Saints doing everything right except picking up the trailer. 3-ball misses everything from Schumacher. Alley brings it out the other way. He'll race all the way to the rack, switches right to left midair, lays it up and in. And now Northwest Nazarene can feel it.
Yeah, a little surprised Alley didn't just step back and try and drain some time off the clock. But they're just going up and down the court. They don't want to stop. Usually you see a lot of teams kind of back it out and start burning the clock and playing that possession of whittling down. But instead, Northwest Nazarene, they just want straight to the rim.
Well,
2 points is 2 points.
Just wants to get in the mix here. He's had such a quiet night. And credit the Saints. They had a great defensive game plan geared around stopping Zeke Alley. They succeeded in that. It was just, it can sometimes just be a game of whack-a-mole. You stop one guy and 4 other dudes pop up, and they are the ones who fill out the stat sheet. Credit George Reedy for being that guy leading the way tonight for Northwest Nazarene. Alley good on the first, hits the second as well. So 4 straight points from Zeke Alley makes his night look perhaps a little bit grander than it turned out to be. But he's up to 10 points now. Here's Malloy at the other end, reverses it up and in. 11-point game, 34 seconds to play. That pass into the hands of Reedy, nearly deflected for a moment. And now Moore commits the foul.
Yeah, I think if I were the Saints right there, if you couldn't get the stop on the press, just let Northwest Nazarene dribble out the clock. But, thoughts on this game, and we'll talk more in the post-game show for sure. But Saints had every opportunity to just roll over, and they didn't. They were down by 18 at halftime after that monster run by Northwest Nazarene, and they fought back. They never quit, and that's something I'm going to be excited to talk to Aaron Landon, tomorrow morning about, is to see, what did he like to see out of his team here tonight? The effort, I'm sure he's going to say, never quitting.
Here's John Moore with a near side 3. Knocks that down to an 8-point game with 23 seconds to play. Referees will stop play because the net hung up on the rim. That allows the Saints to get their pressure defense set up in backcourt. Shot clock off for the final 23 seconds of the game. Wang able to steal it away, but cannot quite corral it and throw it back in bounds. The Saints had been able to keep that ball in play and knock down a 3. Well, things would have changed dramatically. 20 seconds now. Alley handles, fouled by Schumacher. So Zeke Alley creeping up toward his scoring average on the season. Remember, about 20 seconds ago, he had just 6 points in this game. Came in tonight averaging nearly 18 per contest. He's going to wind up perhaps doubling his point total on the night here in the last 20 seconds of this game.
Yeah, they're getting the ball in his hands in the final seconds, and that means a lot. They trust him in the final bits of a game to be able to make the right decision, and he's converting at the line. You know, he's a great ball player.
Absolutely.
He really is, and I'm excited to see him again tomorrow night. This is a good Northwest Nazarene team. They got a lot of weapons on the floor. You know, them versus Seattle Pacific is going to be some fun contest for sure.
Well, they've only got 2 games scheduled against one another right now. Those are the last 2 games of their season. Moore for 3 in front of the bench, and that's going to do it. Nelson, another rebound. Now, Zeke Alley was their microwave a season ago. Remember, he was their 6th man last year and averaged 16 points a game in the process. He was instant offense off the bench for head coach Paul Rush. This year, it is James Nelson filling that role. 90 to 80 our final score. Northwest Nazarene staked themselves to a huge first half lead, but it all slipped away, but came roaring back here in the second half. We'll step away for just a moment. We'll catch our breath and fire up the post-game show rather, on the other side of this break.
Every time a student learns something new, makes a discovery, or helps a team, it's not just good for that student, it's good for the whole community. At St. Martin's University, we know the impact a well-prepared graduate can have on the world. That's why last year, we extended more than $15 million in scholarships to our students. Because the more we invest in them, the brighter the future becomes for all of us.
And welcome into the St. Martin's men's basketball post-game show. Jeff Lucero with Austin Burns, and man, oh man, what a fun game we had. A total seesaw affair. Northwest Nazarene just punished St. Martin's at the end of the first half en route to a 48-30 halftime lead, but it was all St. Martin's for the first 11 minutes of the second half as they went on let me do the math really fast. I believe a 24. They got a 27-6 scoring run to give themselves a 3-point lead through the first 11 minutes of the second half. But after scoring just 6 points in the first 11 minutes of the second half, Austin, listen to this, 34 points in the game's final 9 minutes for Northwest Nazarene. They win it tonight 90-80.
Yeah, Northwest Nazarene, for me, look, They delivered the first haymaker of the game at the end of that first half with that run. And St. Martin's delivered right back, and their defense allowed them to get right back into it. And then, you know, Northwest Nazarene, it took them a few minutes. They got their feet back under them, and then they were able to hit some clutch shots at the end of the game to secure it. But, you know, for me, this was a great basketball game. Both teams fought to the bitter end on this one, and it was a well-deserved win for Northwest Nazarene. Very good squad, but I think if you're Aaron Landon and company, you know, you want one of these to eventually go your way. They've put together good outing after good outing this year. It's just they haven't been able to been on the right end at the final buzzer, but they've played really, really good basketball this year, in my opinion.
Flip side of that for Northwest Nazarene, 7-1 on the season now, and we called them closers in the pregame show, and here we are in the postgame show. It was on full display. 34 points in the game's final 9 minutes from this Northwest Nazarene team after being held to 6 in the first 11 minutes of the frame. For Northwest Nazarene, they do wind up shooting 54% from the floor. What a number that is. 31 of 57, 10 of 21 from 3, good for 47%. 18 of 22 at the line. So a very efficient, good shooting night for this Nighthawks basketball team, led by the 23 points of George Reedy. Boy, did he look good tonight. That dude just got to the rack with ease. Without George Reedy in the middle tonight, filling things up, who knows what this game might have been like. But 23 points for Reedy, a team-high 8 rebounds. Give him 3 assists in the night as well in 33 minutes of very hard-fought, hard-nosed basketball on the floor tonight. A total of 6 players in double figures for the Nighthawks. Zeke Alley worked his way all the way up to 14 points in this game, but 8 of those coming in the game's final 40 seconds. 11 points apiece for Murphy, Risek, and 10 points as well for James Nelson and point guard Kobe Terashima. By the way, Terashima, 8 more assists tonight. He's now got 48 assists through 7 games, nearly 7 assists per game now for Terashima on the season. On the other side of things for St. Martin's, they shoot 41% from the floor. That number improved to 46%, however, in the second half. 10 of 31 from 3, so just 32% three-point shooting. But again, in the second half, 7 of 19 from beyond the arc, paced, of course, by the absolutely brilliant play of Alex Schumacher in the game's final 20 minutes. He winds up with 29 points on 10 of 21 shooting. He was 5 of 9 from beyond the arc, hit 4 of 5 free throws as well. Give him credit for 4 rebounds, 3 steals in 35 minutes. The only other Saints player in double figures tonight was Tyke Thompson. He finishes the night with 16 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 steals, but did not score, Austin, I don't believe, in the final 10 minutes of this game. 2 players with 9 points tonight. That's John Moore and DeMonte Malloy. Marky Adams with 7 rebounds for the Saints. So it's been something that the Saints have just fallen prey to. They either get themselves in a big hole and fight their way back, only to have things just not go their way at the end of a game. They give themselves a good lead, only to let it fritter away in the closing moments of a game. Saints find a lot of ways to kind of get in their own way a little bit here, but you can see this team has a lot of talent. The backcourt for this team is just filled. I mean, filled with stud athletes. Seth Coddington, Alex Schumacher, and Tyke Thompson are 3 of the most athletic guards in this league, bar none.
Oh, absolutely. And what you're seeing is this is a young team. They're learning, and they're playing against some very tough competition. Look at their schedule. It's Division I Seattle U, Division I Portland State, Seattle Pacific, who's nationally ranked at the beginning of the year, Northwest Nazarene, who will more than likely, I believe they were nationally ranked in the last poll. I mean, this is a team who, for St. Martin's, they've had to play, I would put it up there as one of the hardest strength of schedules so far in the entire country in Division II. I mean, it's been a tough go, and they're hanging right there with them. And this is a team that last year, they struggled against the top of the leaderboard in the GNAC. This year, they're hanging right there with some of the best teams. They're growing in front of our eyes every single night. It's learning opportunities. They just need one W to really go into, that week of practice feeling better about themselves. But, Aaron, Landon, and company, they're doing a great job. They just need that one W to really kind of, and you can loosen up the shoulders a bit. But, again, Schumacher, great night tonight. What a night he had. And hopefully this is just the beginning of a great run for him.
Yeah, what a second half it was for Alex Schumacher. I nearly my voice kind of went a little sideways a couple of times, probably hit the squelch a little bit on the headset there as I lost my mind a few times on some of those plays from Schumacher. What a second half it was. Now, you mentioned it. It's just hopefully just a matter of time before they get that first W. Well, guess what? It's only a few hours away before they get their next chance. These two teams, don't forget, go right back at it tomorrow, 3 p.m. right here inside Marcus Pavilion. Austin, what kind of adjustments do you think Aaron Landon wants to make? He's going to have to make them on the fly because he doesn't have a whole lot of time to turn this thing around and play once again all over again. What do you want to see a little bit different from the Saints as they get set to take on the Nighthawks once again tomorrow afternoon?
Yeah, for me, the Saints came into this game wanting to shoot threes. I would like to see them come into tomorrow working inside to out. And that doesn't mean you're not shooting threes. I just would like to see the ball get more deeper into that paint and then be able to distribute out from there. And I think that would allow, a couple more open shots. A lot of threes tonight were contested but still win in. I'd like to see, maybe Marky Adams and Tyke Thompson and DeMonte Malloy getting closer to that basket. And for Northwest Nazarene, it's going to be how do we get Alley going a little bit quicker. The Saints did a great job being able to collapse on him and take away points for most of the game until obviously those final minutes. For Northwest Nazarene, you can't count on the whole team is going to step up again tomorrow night. You got to get your big shooter back on the floor rolling. So how do they make those quick adjustments? And And with a guard as talented as Allie, I don't think it's going to be you have to make too many tweaks. I think you just kind of have to get the ball in his hands a few more times, and he'll find a way to score.
Well, the Saints men's team came up short against Northwest Nazarene here this evening. However, over on the women's side of things, over in Nampa, how about that victory for the St. Martin's women's team? Look at what Claire Dingus did tonight. We might have had a few viewers switch over from the women's game to the men's game. If any of you checked out that game over on the GNAC Digital Network, you saw a good one. St. Martin's with a huge, huge victory against a longtime bitter rival in Northwest Nazarene. Nazarene, of course, off to a tough start this season. They lost a ton of talent off of the team that for this program. They've been at the top of the Western Division, the West Division in NCAA Division II. They're sort of in rebuilding mode, but nevertheless, it's a huge, huge win for St. Martin's to go on the road and knock off a program like Nazarene. Claire Dinkus, 25 points, 16 rebounds, 5 assists tonight. What a game it was for easily one of the preeminent players in all of GNAC women's basketball.
Yeah, for me, Claire Dingus this year, her rebounding numbers off the charts. Coming into today at 12 rebounds a game was one of the best in the country. It was, can she get her offense going? And she did tonight, 25 points. And Claire always seems to step up in the biggest games. Like Alaska Anchorage has never been able to stop her. One of the best defenses, probably the best defense in the country, hasn't been able to stop her. She always finds a way to come up big in those games. And so for the Saints and Christy Martin, this was the first time in the Christy Martin era the Saints came into a week ranked in the regional poll. They got in the 6th spot, so things are building up. People are taking notice, and a win on the road against Northwest Nazarene. Trust me, a lot of people are going to see that. That's a big-time win. And like you said, Northwest Nazarene, even though, they might be in a rebuilding mode instead of a reload like they were last year, they're still a very good team. They're well coached. So hats off to Christy Martin and her staff and her team. What a win tonight to come up and score 27 points in the 4th quarter for a victory. Wow, what a game.
Yes, Coach Martin, if you are tuned in for the tail end of our broadcast here, congrats on the win tonight, and good luck to you guys tomorrow as well. So here's what we've got on deck for you tomorrow. Saints women's basketball and Northwest Nazarene will get things fired up at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Mountain time. So whatever you do, make sure you tune in for the first half of that game. Then at 3 o'clock, we tip off here, 4 o'clock Mountain time. So get your laptop and your tablet out so you can watch both games at once. And then when the women's game winds down over in Nampa, you can switch all of your attention over to the second half of the men's game. So again, St. Martin's women's team tomorrow at 2 p.m., St. Martin's men's team at 3 p.m. Austin and I will be on the broadcast at about, let's call it 2:40 tomorrow afternoon. We will get the pregame show fired up right around then. Once again, your final score tonight, Northwest Nazarene 90, St. Martin's 80 with the win. Northwest Nazarene now 7-1 on the season. With a loss, the Saints now sit at 0-5. My goodness, we've already hit the halfway point of the season. I'm just now realizing that. Yeah. We are 5 games in. We've got 5 more to go, at least for right now. We might have some updates to the schedule. We don't know anything just yet, but keep your ears keep an eye on that St. Martin Saints website. We'll have some possible updates to the basketball schedule as we continue to sort of navigate these treacherous waters that COVID-19 has presented. But for now, anyway, we're 5 games in, 5 games to go after tonight's 90-80 setback against Northwest Nazarene. That's going to do it for us this evening. Remember, women's basketball tips at 2 tomorrow. Men's basketball pregame show at 2:40 with tip-off at 3 right here once again on the Twin Star Court inside Marcus Pavilion. On behalf of Austin Burns and everyone here within the St. Martin's Athletic Department, this is Jeff Lucero signing off for tonight. We will see you right back here tomorrow at 2:40 p.m. Good night.